morning. We are at Unity Spiritual Center, Florida. It took me a minute to get that out of my head. Okay. Today we're talking about faith over fear. And believe it or not, I have notes and I'm going to use them this morning. Madeline accuses me of that. I spend time getting ready and then never look at it, but I'm going to look at it, okay? I started earlier and I was talking about, I feel really led to share what's going on with us, all of us, and what our human nature is producing in our lives. And the question is, most of the major religions of the world speak about that you are an individual who is capable of doing wonderful things. The biggest issue is being encouraged, being told you can do it, getting the training to do it, and then you doing something about doing it. Okay, so why do we have so much poverty? Why do we have so much sickness? Why do we have so much political turmoil? Why do we have things that aren't working? Okay, if we are imbued in a divinity, which is what Jesus said. He said very clearly the kingdom of heaven is within. Okay, and again, you go into Taoism or into Chinese. And it says that God is everywhere present, but you can't discuss it because it's so far beyond your understanding. But just know that you are part of the energy of the universe, and the universe is who you are. And this mystical idea is everything around you is God, or the unknown, so you can't name it. And you go through all the major religions, they all say the same thing. Ultimately, there's an energy for good in the universe that is everywhere present in everything. And then you get quantum physics that says everything is energy and that nothing is form. Everything is energy at a rate of vibration, and the vibration of certain frequencies get together and forms things. And then it also says that you influence the outcome of the energies. So there's a direct cycle and an energy that's occurring everywhere present. Which means, as Jesus said, we're created in the image of God, which is Genesis 1:27, if I remember correctly. Okay, and Jesus came and said, "Know ye not that ye are gods?" So he quoted the Bible. So it's been said over and over and over again, and how come it ain't working? And I use the word ain't to get through, okay? And in my own life, how come I didn't do this, and how come I didn't do that? And how come I'm reaching this point and I didn't get that done? Anybody familiar with that idea, by the way? That's called regret. And how come? And so what it all comes down to in my world is the human nature that we've been trained to, which is called fear. Anybody familiar with the idea of fear? Okay, and fear comes up when something is big. Oh my God, I can't do that. So it's interesting that fear comes up when it's something big. Okay? And our automatic reaction is, oh, no, going to go high. What happens if it doesn't work out? What happens if I look foolish? What happens if my neighbors don't like me? What happens? And it's over and over and over again. And we have all been trained in this what if negative thinking. Okay, hi Judy.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, dear.
So, that's kind of like an answer. What happens if? And I was thinking about it. It's like looking for a new. Do you understand? It's very interesting. I tell you the announcements. No, it's not the same. Anyway, she talked about it. We've been looking at houses for a new house, a new home. Okay? Now, we've looked at some pretty interesting stuff. Anybody, those of you who've been there, I've gotten to the point where I'm very careful about saying we're going to look at something. I even didn't invite Tommy this last week because I wasn't sure it would work out. But I knew Randy would give an honest answer, okay? And Randy gave an honest answer. It doesn't work. Okay? So the idea is, the fear comes up, what happens if they don't like it? What happens if it doesn't work? And this is part of life. Okay? And we even Anybody familiar that it takes time to learn to do something? For some reason, I was sitting there thinking about things this morning, and you guys, the music created all kinds of thoughts. Anybody, you ready? Anybody remember their first kiss? Do you understand the term? Oh my God, what am I going to do if I don't do it right? I wonder if I'll get hit. I wonder if she'll agree. I wonder. And I know, I've been told that females sit there and say, is he going to do it? Is he going to, oh my God, I don't know what to do, oh my God, God. So we go through that process because we don't know and we're worried about being right in what we do. And we're driven to do that because we've learned from behavior around us to be careful. We go out the door and walk, I go for a walk around this block, which is kind of slow sometimes. And I'm told, be careful. So we are a driven society culture of being careful, which means what? Fear. So it's really fascinating to me, and I don't remember what I've got. If you're not worried about your life, what you eat, drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Anybody worry about when you get up in the morning what you're going to wear that day? Sometimes I set out what I'm going to wear the next day before that, just to make sure that when I get up, I'm okay. I got up this morning, I said, well, it's different. So I haven't worn a tie at church in years. I did it this morning, okay? So that I look pretty. Do you understand? I wanted your approval. So we're all driven by this what if. And how many times have we stopped our good by worrying about what if? Okay? And how many things would have worked out the way we wanted if we had not done what we did when we didn't do what we did do? Okay? So the whole thing is wired around this fear of making a step. Okay? And I'm going back. I did not know what would come out here, and understand, because I came in 10 years ago. Valerie basically was on the board and hired me, and it was a blessing. But yet we haven't gotten where I wanted to go. We aren't at church with a very new building. We even own a beautiful piece of property, and we had plans. Randy had beautiful plans. Didn't work out. Could it have worked out if we had done something different? You see how we get, and who was responsible for it not happening? Whose energy stopped it? Do you understand how we blame ourselves? And that's my thinking. But looking here this morning, you're together. You're going to have a new board. You're going to have fun. I'm convinced. Anyway, the energy this morning was beautiful. So there's a reason for everything in life. Okay? There was a reason 10 years ago when I moved from Van Alstyne, Texas. Anybody know where that is? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they knew where it is.
Sherman.
Sherman. And it's basically right between Sherman and McKinney.
From Detroit.
Tom, how did you get from Detroit to meeting MJ?
Airplane.
What made you get on the airplane, right?
Work.
Fear.
Which means I need money, I need to go find a place that I can work. So we make decisions, and the idea of how many possibilities are there from a decision I make where I wind up. See, once I make a decision to do it, then the rest of the possibilities come up. But the possibilities that are don't come up unless I make that step. So if I get fearful and stay where I am, then I continue the possibilities of this part rather than the possibilities of this. Okay? I can't tell you how many people I meet. I used to do workshops, actually a lot of places. And one of the things I would ask you is, how far have you traveled? Just to find that and get a feeling for people. And when I was we lived in rural Georgia for a while, and there was a local college there that I worked out of, and I would ask people in a workshop there, where have you been? What's your experience? Has anybody here traveled? And people put their hands up. Well, I went to Dothan, which is about 20 miles, okay? And then I had people say, well, I was in California. You understand? Everybody's consciousness is the decisions they've made and how they have worked out. So I live in a world of my conscious decisions that are based on fear or faith. Okay? So let's go back up here. Do not worry about your life, what you eat, drink, or about wear, or what you will wear. Because I'm told what to do, but if I don't do it, I work in fear and I cut off energy. And we also know, fear. What does fear do to the body? Anybody want to go there?
Paralyzes it.
Paralyzes it, yeah. They pretty well determined that fear actually affects the chemicals in the body that create aging or create all kinds of different things. Okay? So, and that song, I really love that song, by the way. Okay? First, I should almost ask to put up the words on it. But it really is, it's all going to work out. All is well. Okay? Let's go here. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. That's, oh, ouch! Okay? Is that descriptive enough for you?
That's pretty good.
Okay? So we know it. Everybody agree? We talk about it every week. In some form or another. So we know it. How come? We're still dealing with it. I was looking for a word I could use that was okay. That's what I was thinking of. But you see, we live in it and say, oh, well, that's the way it is. You know, the political party created that. Those jerks over there, it's their fault. You see, we are all products of the decisions we made and what we based on faith moving forward. Okay, how many stories do you have of somebody that has overcome whatever it is in life? All kinds of stories of millionaires that have created that because they made a step and then they made another step and then they made another step. Okay? And when we go to make a step, sometimes we hear about the people that lost everything because they made that step. But what they don't tell you is that they came back and made a step the next time. So we're all making steps in life, and those steps taking us into divine order or away from fear. Okay? Next, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. So there's the key. If fear is the thing that holds me back, and I don't know about you, but I'm clear that's been part of me, okay? If fear is holding me back, there must be something that I can let go, turn the switch, and allow my good to come in. Because innately, I am a child of God. Everybody gets, I want you to say that together. Let's say it out loud. I am a child of God. Feel that. That means your divinity. Okay? And as you do that, can anything hold you back? So that's the system, the way it was set up, and that's what's in the Bible, and that's what Jesus tries to remind us of. So here, there is no fear in love. So there must be a position we call love that allows this to let go. Because, I don't know, my experience of fear is it's got hooks. And it comes, oh my God, there it is again. Okay, now the key to it is being aware that I'm in fear and shifting it. See, that's the problem, because when I get stuck in fear, it's all consumed. Okay, now we try to hide it. I would never let Madeline know I'm in fear, because I have to be male. Okay? I have to be strong. Crying on the inside. Is that true? It is. I'm sorry. Even though I've made decisions that take us right, you wouldn't believe this crap I prayed for her. Okay. So we all go through that, and that's the truth of what it is. So, there's got to be an idea here, love. Perfect love drives out fear. So perfect love, and what is love? And see, it's in that conversation where a solution occurs. So, what is love? That I can use it to drive out the fear that's holding me back. Okay? And it's a trained energy. Okay? I brought up the first kiss earlier. Anybody agree after you get used to it, you want to practice it a lot, you get better? So life is practicing good behavior. Yes, it is. How many things do you get better at when you practice it more? Anybody remember the first time you had to drive a car? And I learned on the clutch. Anybody else?
Oh, yes.
That was a horrendous experience. Okay? And how did I finally learn? Now, do any of us think when we get in the car, we turn it on and go? Yes? Automatically. But you remember the first time? No, it's gone. But we had to get through that first step and do more and more and more of it to become proficient in driving. And we get annoyed when somebody doesn't drive the way they're supposed to drive because we're driving the way we're supposed to drive. Okay? So life is making decisions, overcoming fear, and then becoming efficient at what we're doing to forget about fear. Okay? And all the great skills in the world are learned by doing. It's called practice. Now, a doctor's practice is called practice, which scares me. I don't want a doctor practice. But you understand how this is all wired in. And the truth is, love is a state of non-being. Okay? The idea in the Bible is the kingdom of heaven is within. Okay? I said I was going to use these, I haven't so far. But faith is our spiritual power. Faith is the power of love. It's saying, no, I'm a child of God, I am an energy of God, I am an essence of God, and as such, I do not have to be fearful. Because if there's a problem here, I'll be guided around it. Okay? Anybody ever had things just disappear that have been problems, and all of a sudden they're gone? It's strange. We had issues on everything. You know, we have been moving everything. Okay, we have a daughter that has stuck in a warehouse in McKinney from 10 years ago. So we had to get here. We moved, and all of a sudden, you know what? We didn't know how we were going to use a real estate individual, and we just had a new member come in, Grace, who worked with a lady that's got 40 years of experience in Round Rock. And she has guided us and told us exactly, and she even hires, anybody agree that you have to have people around to fix the house after you move out?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know who she's calling.
And it just showed up, okay? And it can go on and on and on. Madeline met movers, where were you somewhere? You were eating a meal somewhere?
Yes. Pandas.
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 Yeah, and I talked to everybody, okay, I did. Really, we're out, let's talk. And I love it when people's hearts are good, you can feel it. So you talk to them. And there were two movers eating at Pandas, and we started talking to them, and then she made the connection. And they have now moved us, this is the third move? Okay. How does that happen? It happens because you do trust in faith. The Spirit is going to provide something and it shows up. Now that is not what the world teaches. The world teaches you got to be careful, you got to check everything out, you have to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and it takes time to practice that, believe me, it does. It takes time. But perfect love drives out fear. And there's lots of ideas, okay? Valerie.
So I thought when you talked in the newsletter this week about what stress physically does to you,
Yes.
and when I was typing these up, and I've heard this before, but the second verse, a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a
Yes.
crushed spirit dries up the bones. Way back when, whoever did Proverbs, whoever came up with that, knew that.
Yeah.
They knew that then, that stress
Yep.
and worry is physically harmful for you. And I love that part of the newsletter, that reminding that there's a physical outcome
Yep.
of worrying too much.
There's
Consequence, there's a
and see,
consequence.
Science is getting more and more verification of that, and they're finding antibodies and all kinds of different hormones that are triggered by the different glands. And the brain is running all of these different, the pituitary glands, all the adrenal glands. Anybody familiar with this? You burn out adrenal glands when you stress too much. They are now, and it's becoming more and more. Remember, I keep talking about hang on, things are changing faster. That's what's happening in medicine. We were talking about that this morning. They are finding more and more of that issue. They really are. Okay, now that was 4,000 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? So all of this is a state of mind. And if you are divinity, which every major book you read in the spiritual says you're divinity, so cool. Relax. Now, I'm led, there's all kinds of things, okay? Valerie does this once in a while, but the breath is one of the connectors. There's a nerve that goes from the brain down into the heart. It's called the vagus nerve, V-A-G-U-S. And that when that connects, it connects that energy, the mind and the heart. Okay, so it's important to get that energy moving in our body. And when we go into fear, we shut down those energies moving through the body. Okay, and it's so, we're finding more and more and more. And right now it's a rather political issue, but hang on, because it's all coming out now. Okay? And breath, the power of the breath does make the connections easier over a period of time. I'm into this and I don't know what to do with it. It's a very, very simple thing. I'll tell you what, we're going to practice breathing, okay? And this comes from the ancient Hindu ideas, back 6,000 years ago. Okay, but when you put your tongue right between, there's these teeth here at the back of these front teeth, you put your tongue there. And breathe in, you have to breathe in through the nose. So you shut off the mouth breathe, and then let. Now there's key to this. The lungs are not the major parts of the body that were designed originally to bring air in and air out. The truth is, it's called, what I call Buddha breathing. So it's, when you breathe in, can you see it? And if you watch the yogis, have you ever seen pictures of them, when they breathe out, so it's actually breathing here, not the lungs. If you can, once you learn how to do that, you just do it for, actually, you ready? 12 breaths gets it started, and the connection occurs, okay? Look at her. That's why I huff and puff all the time. Now, the only way to learn to do that is learn to do it. And you really have to change this structure here. Larry? Okay, yes.
I mean, that's so good. I mean, sometimes at work when I'm working on something and I'm in a
Yes.
timeline, after a while I realize I've actually physically stopped breathing. I may be breathing really shallowly, but I'm not
Yes.
breathing very deeply. So I'm not getting enough oxygen to my brain. And so when you start feeling the physical effect of that, I love that practice. Because then you're getting oxygen back to your brain, you're slowing down your nervous system.
It is. it's key. What's interesting, and people don't know this, that oxygen is now being used by a lot of the big figures to overcome disease. A lot of people wonder why originally during COVID, Donald overcame COVID within a day or 2, 3 days. He was in a hyperbolic oxygen chamber, breathing high concentration oxygen, okay? And that is well known now as something to correct problems, okay? So the breathing you're talking about is part of oxygenating the body and moving it, okay? Now, I didn't plan on getting into this, but it's part of that. And you can feel yourself shift, okay? Madeline wants me to shut up. Okay, let me go back on fear. Your state of being, if you're in fear, I hope you understand that you're actually not moving forward and you're affecting yourself in a negative fashion internally, okay? And the body is wired with nerves and all kinds of things that keep the body moving and actually tell it what to do, new things, okay? Well, you know, and they're finding out that more and more. So, the breath, learning to breathe, or even, you don't have to worry about this is using the muscles here, okay, rather than the muscles here. But if you can just breathe heavily for 12 hard breaths, you'll find yourself slowing down and relaxing and leaving a fear environment. And then you can make a statement. In other words, you can't make a statement that makes sense while you're in fear because the fear locks us in. So anyway, have I worked with you to understand fear is the major issue that we're here to overcome? And once you overcome it, things start changing. Okay? And if you have the tools, you have affirmations, you have the ideas, and you also have the environment to do it. However, how do you learn to do it? Practice. Comments?
I think we don't learn it just one time because
No.
I've been in a fear place recently and I know better. So we have to keep relearning it and be gentle with ourselves and go back to like a beginner mind and just, when we notice that we're in fear, just go back to the beginning and start over.
We're right back to Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. No, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Which is the Ho'oponopono from the Hunas, which is, if we can learn to say that over and over and over again, sooner or later the consciousness shifts. Okay? Especially when you breathe. Okay. I got into territory I did not expect to get into. Okay. So I guess we're going to finish. We've got, 4 more weeks, 5 more weeks to get these all done. So thank you. I'm done.